Hello and welcome back to another video. This problem we're looking to find the solutions of the quadratic equation 4x squared minus 8x minus 12 is equal to 0. So the first thing we can notice here is that every single term in this equation we can divide by 4 and it'll make things simpler. So divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4, and of course divide by 4, don't forget to do both sides. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so this is 1x squared, or just x squared. Minus 8 over 4 is minus 2x, and then minus 12 over 4 is negative 3 is equal to 0 over 4 is just 0. So now we have a quadratic trinomial, 3 terms. Quadratic is the highest term, power to 2. So what you can do is you can plug this into the quadratic formula, but it's a little bit easier if we just try and find the factors. So we know that it's going to be x plus some number times x plus some number is equal to 0. We have a negative value here, so that means we're going to have a positive and a negative term, right? Because let's say this was positive 4 and negative 2, they multiply to give us this last term, and in this case it would be negative 8, because 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, but those are not going to be our actual values, because we're actually looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 3. So 3 is prime. So its only two factors are 1 and itself. So we're going to add them in a way that will multiply to negative 3 and add to negative 2. And I'll redistribute after to show why that's the case. But first of all, one of them has to be positive and one of them has to be negative. So we can have negative 1 and 3 or 1 and negative 3. We have to see, okay, negative 1 plus 3, that's equal to 2. And 1 plus negative 3, that's equal to negative 2. So these are the two values that we want. We want positive 1, so plus 1, and negative 3. And before we use this to find the solutions, I will just show you why we need to say, okay, these values have to multiply to negative 3, and they have to add to negative 2. So redistributing, we have x squared minus 3x plus 1x plus 1 times negative 3. So you see here, we have the x squared, we can kind of just ignore that. And then negative 3 plus 1 is the x terms, that has to add to negative 2, and then 1 times negative 3 has to multiply to negative 3. So that's just a little explanation. Then we say, okay, we have this thing times this thing is equal to 0. For that to be true, either x plus 1 equals 0 or x minus 3 equals 0. So now we have the two possible solutions of this quadratic. So we subtract 1 on both sides from here. This cancels and we get x is equal to 0 minus 1 is negative 1. If you add 3 on both sides here, these cancel and you get x is equal to 0 plus 3 is 3. So the two solutions of this quadratic equation are x is equal to negative 1 and x is equal to 3, which correlates with b, which is going to be your final answer. As always, thank you for liking and subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.